And now, live 3 miles apart on the Lawrence Corridor in Chicago, it's the Semi-Regular Sundays Christmas Spectacular with our special guests, Clayton, Eileen Hanley, Prateek Srivastava, Marisa Galvez, and from Canada, David James. But first, with a special Yuletide song, our very own Dan Anderson. With a special holiday song, Dan Anderson. Dan?
You never emailed me the lyrics.
Well, the hell with that. All right. Good evening, everybody. All right. Welcome to our 72nd remote show. For those of you who don't know us, Dan and I are the Flower Shop Bangers. We are an improv duo based out of Chicago. We have been performing together for about 7.5 years. And we have been hosting remote shows every Sunday and Wednesday, with the exception of holidays, pretty much every week since the pandemic started. So, so let's see, that's just 72 shows. So we've taken a few days off. So yeah, we've been doing this for maybe 38, 39 weeks now. Mm-hmm. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in right now. This is our next to last show of 2020. And tonight's show is just jam-packed with comedy and music and just quirky other little things. So before I introduce all of our acts tonight, Dan, if you could say a few words about some of the small businesses we're promoting, with especially as well as some ongoing fundraisers.
Yeah, so if you look at the banner below, you're going to see some, like Stuart said, some ongoing fundraisers as well as some businesses that we're just looking to kind of put out there. Mostly because they're all, smaller local or causes that we think are important for people to promote, especially, given our current situation. First, there is an ongoing GoFundMe by the comedian Chris Redd. Chris Redd is trying to raise money for people who are at Black Lives Matter's protest to cover their medical costs. You can find the link to the GoFundMe in the description of this event. Second, there is the bar that Stuart and I usually host this show at. Obviously, as you know, a lot of bars are closed. This is one in particular we think you should support, and it is Shakers on Clark. Shakers on Clark is a really great bar in Wrigleyville, and they are collecting tips for their bar staff using a GoFundMe. So if you are maybe drinking an alcoholic beverage or otherwise tonight, you can go to that GoFundMe and maybe give the money that you would have given towards the bar towards Shakers. Third, there is a really great gym that I personally go to called Bodi Shak. It is a Black-owned gym. They offer really great classes normally right now. They are offering what is called, I think they're calling it Selfie, and it is basically you can, book a slot, and they have a maximum of 6 people in the gym, and you can work out. Really great spot, really great place to sport, I think. And last and certainly not least, there is First Sip Cafe. First Sip Cafe is a really great coffee and tea shop in the Asia on Argyle community in Uptown. I highly recommend it. I've never been disappointed there. And I have a link in the description to get gift cards. With that said, a lot of these places probably aren't local to you. So if they aren't local to you, I would recommend you go out and you support your own local businesses. There are a lot of places out there that need our support at this time. And I'm sure you don't want to see them close. We've seen a lot of businesses close already, and it would be a shame to see more. Back to you, Stuart.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan. As you may have noticed, my wall is looking like a little bare, a little more like kind of how it normally does. I took down the Hanukkah decorations just because, well, first of all, Hanukkah just ended. Secondly, I'm not Jewish. However, I made sure that just to be festive, obviously I've got the hat here. However, I did actually bring a Christmas decoration for our show tonight. So without further ado, I found this we actually have at my parents' house a Christmas room. It's just basically just wall-to-wall holiday decorations, but mostly Christmas. So we just call it the Christmas room. Mm. And once I figure out how to turn this on, I will get this show rolling. Okay, and it just stopped. So nevertheless, we have a really exciting show for you this evening. We have 4 comedians. We have some musical comedy entertainment, and closing out the night, a little bit of improv. Obviously, our final act of the evening are your co-host and the co-producers of Semi-Regular Sundays, Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo!
Right before the bangers, we have a little bit of comedic story time, courtesy of Alec Clayton.
Woo!
Right before Alec Clayton, we're going to have some live music, courtesy of Eileen Hanley.
Woo!
Woo!
Right before Eileen, we have our good friend Prateek Srivastava.
Woohoo!
He'll be here to promote his new album. Right before Prateek, we're trying to get a hold of her. She's not in our Zoom chat at the moment, but we hope she'll join us very shortly. A comedian out of New York named Marisa Galvez.
Woohoo!
And now leading us off is a comedian that reached out to us through Facebook, who is based out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I'm just going to assume by default that he is basically the king of the Saskatoon comedy scene. Please welcome to our show, David James.
Hello, how's it going? I hope you guys are fine. My name is David James. I'm here from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I know many people, they don't know where Saskatchewan is. And let me tell you, those are the absolute normal people that you find anywhere in this world. People who really know where Saskatchewan is or where Saskatoon is are mostly the people who go to school and then grow up to be serial killers in the future. That's exactly what Saskatoon is. Yeah, it's funny. Like, the reason why I ended up in Saskatchewan was a trap. It's called an internship I had at a radio station. It's called Power 99. It's in Prince Albert, which is worse than Saskatoon. We'll get into that later. Yeah, so that's the reason why I ended up in Saskatchewan for my internship. Internship, let me tell you what that is. That's a scam for bigger corporations to make money without paying people. Mm-hmm. And I took a radio broadcasting course in school, so that's why I came to an internship at a radio station. Radio broadcasting, let me tell you, the best course you can ever take in the world. They'll teach you how to do a show on radio. They'll teach you how to make commercials, write them, voice them, produce them. The only thing, however, they forget to teach you is how to get a job after that. And my college years, those were fabulous years, like the best years in my life. You know, I had fun. Teachers were surprisingly nicer to me, better than my school teachers. My parents were so proud of me because nobody ever called my parents about my failing grades. So that was good about college. And I was just happy. But I later realized that people are often nice to animals that are off to a slaughterhouse. And that's exactly what it ended up being. Off to a slaughterhouse, which is called a job market. I am, by the way, I am a South Asian Indian gay man. Grew up in Pickering, Ontario, in an extremely white neighborhood. Pickering, Ontario is so white that Shawn Mendes was born there. It's that white. There's actually a road called White's Road in Pickering. Have you seen like a brown road or a Chinese road? No, but there's a white road. White's Road, Pickering. It's that kind of white place. You know, there's a nuclear power plant where you'll see lots of Homer Simpsons working. It's that white. So, of course, I acted white when I was growing up. And that was weird for my Indian cousins, actually, because a lot of time they'll come from Toronto, the main city, Toronto, to Pickering. And sometimes they'll ask for like, hey, let's get samosas and stuff like that. And they'll like recommend great Indian stores. And I would be like, oh, you know what? Let's go to Whole Foods. They have the best samosas in the city. Like, they're so good. They're like Taylor Swift, Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber good. That good samosas they have. I acted so white when I was a kid. And I still do, apparently. Also, because I was the only white kid in my school. And it happened. It was the same way until I graduated from radio broadcasting. I was the only brown kid, not white. In like an entirely white classroom. So I was like, just one coffee bean and a cup full of cream, if that makes sense to you. No, Pickering. Fun time. Growing up, so good. White parents, amazing. Brown people, brown parents, interesting. Like, there's a lot of differences between brown and white parenting. Let's get into that. White people, they discipline their kids. Brown people also discipline their kids too. But the way white people discipline their kids is like, timeouts, maybe they lock their kids in a room. Sometimes spanking works, but that's like too brutal. With brown people, the way things work are blackmail, bribery, emotional blackmailing your children. And the last is beat your kid to the point where they lose their entire confidence. That's the technique that brown people do. And you should be thankful now because I just gave you a recipe to produce CEOs that we do. Like, look at the CEO of Google. He is Indian too. Hey, Kamala Harris is, I think she's Indian. Yeah, she is. No, what brown people follow. And like white people, they have amazing, interesting careers. You know, like white kids, they have options like actor, singer, they can be a pop star, they can be a porn star, they can be a drug dealer or serial killer. If you're living in the States, you have a choice of being a mass shooter. Brown people don't get those amazing choices, you know? Growing up, we were like given 4 choices. One was an accountant, second one was a doctor, the third one was a lawyer, and the fourth one was an Uber driver. Fourth one was the most popular. It turns out that way too. Like in Saskatoon, you see like the whitest city in the world, but then you take a cab and you'll be like, where do you want to go, sir? I'll take you wherever you want to go. That's like the career choice of brown people. And I didn't follow that path. I was kind of rebellious kid. And because of that, my parents are very disappointed. Growing up, I didn't really have a voice because my parents didn't let me have a voice. And that's exactly what I do to my friends too. I don't let them have any kind of voice. Now I have so many friends. Like I have white friends, obviously. I have Asian friends. I have South Korean friends. They're amazing. I definitely don't have North Korean friends. And the reason why I don't have North Korean friends is because they're very, very smart people. They won't get into another dictatorship, you know, after coming out of one from Kim Jong-un. That would be terrible for them. No, I'm a disappointment for my parents, obviously, because I decided to do radio broadcasting, which doesn't really make money. Indian people, man, we love money. Chinese people say they like money, but we are better than them because Chinese people have one god that worships for money. Indian people, they have 2 gods they worship for money. And then all of those gods have 22 million variations. So like you ask so precisely what kind of money you want. You know, like I want this kind of money. I want healthcare money. I want money. I want to steal money from people. There's a god for that too. I'm sure there is. Because there's 33 million. So there has to be one. Like we love money. We love doing everything to money too. Like we love keeping money. We love storing money. We love hoarding money. We love hiding money. The only thing we don't do is giving money. We never do that. And if I have an option of taking or stealing money, I will take it from you, however. And it's just the way to go. And I guess that's the only Indian thing I still have. The rest is like really, really white. Here's the thing. My favorite food. Oh man, they're so white. Like my favorite grocery store, that is Whole Foods. As I said earlier, right? I go to Whole Foods and I go to my cousins. I say, you know what? Whole Foods has the best samosas in the city. And they look at me and go like, what a disappointment he is to Indian community. You don't deserve to be here. Whew. I am also gay, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Like I'm the only gay person in Saskatoon. And I guess that's kind of true too. Because gay people don't like Saskatchewan. And it's a fact. And there are 1,000 reasons. First of all, Saskatchewan is so weird. You don't find good clothes in this whole city. What you end up finding is H&M, which is something where I go if I get sick, or you had to like get me so high to get there. That's kind of clothes you find in Saskatchewan. Like gay people won't wear it. And because I'm a 23-year-old gay brown man, I get offended with almost anything or everything that you do or say. But the thing that offends me the most is when straight people from Saskatchewan think that I am straight, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you trying to do? That is so disrespectful. You're comparing me to a guy who's wearing like cargo pants or like ripped pants or like straight pants, underwear that are faded to the point where you can't even see the color. I'm like, excuse me. Sorry, but I'm not a part of that. There's other thing which I get offended a lot from is when people think I am a cab driver. Like every time I go and perform at a comedy show, I have to go and explain every person that, hello, sir, my name is David James. I do not drive cab. Hello, miss, my name is David James. I do not drive Uber. Hello, miss, my name is David James. I don't work for Ride, just so you know. It's so offensive. And you know what is more offensive than people? Uber itself. Like every time and this is not a joke, this is real. This is like real stuff. Every time I download the Uber app and I try to sign up as a passenger, it just signs me up as a driver. Without asking me if I have a driver's license, which is worse. Or let's say it's a nightmare. They're like, oh, that name looks brown. Has to be a driver. That name is white. Must be a passenger. Or maybe a drug dealer. Can be one of them. Anyway, that's how it goes with me, man. Like, it's a hard life. Recently, I was in PA. Doing a show. Do you know, anyone knows like Prince Albert, Saskatchewan? Anyone familiar with that location? I'm sure not. Prince Albert is a place in Saskatchewan that looks and smells like railway tracks in India, but has a whole bunch of needles in it. Now, PA jokes don't work anywhere outside of Saskatchewan. I understand that. PA is a trap house of the province. There is 45,000 people in the city, being the third largest city in the province. But what they don't tell you is half of those 45,000 people are in prison. There's 6 jails for 45,000 people in one city. Can you imagine that? It's like the city of jail. Saskatchewan, there's like 3 cities in Saskatchewan, 3 big ones. There's Saskatoon, the biggest one. There's Regina, and there's PA. They were given a choice back in like 1900s when the cities were actually settling down. So they gave a Saskatoon a choice. They gave Regina a choice. They gave PA a choice from a university or a college or a hospital or a jail. PA had an option to choose between university and a jail, and PA took jail. They're like, you know what? This thing is going to create employment for us. And PA is so weird. Like, there's the biggest meth house in the city right next to a police station. But police, when you call them, like, oh no, we can't really find drugs in PA. Excuse me, come and work with me. I grew up in Toronto, well, Pickering technically, but I always say I grew up in Toronto. Now, people in Toronto are nicer. As long as you say Toronto, never say Toronto to us. We'll get mad at that. Toronto is the most beautiful city in the world, actually. There's a bar called Zanzibar. I was there once, and so there was this guy. He later ended up adding me on social media, which is fine. I love when sexy guys add me on social media, but then he started sending me pictures of his penis, which is obviously good. I like it. It's an amazing feeling when men send me pictures of their privates. But then they asked me questions. I mean, he asked me questions. He was like, do you like it? Now, I'm a millennial. I really believe in politically correct language, so I didn't really tell him anything on his face. I mean, I couldn't tell him that, dude, stop sending me pictures. It's circumcised. It looks gross. Pretty much that was my time. David James.
David James, everyone. Woo! Woo! Thank you so much. Man, I gotta say, Dave, I've got just a couple of questions. How is that Saskatoon comedy scene? Like, are there other comics in Saskatoon?
Yeah, there is.
Okay. I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't realize that maybe just because of
It's still the largest city in Saskatchewan, so I think we have many comics.
Oh, okay. For a long time I would have guessed it was Moose Jaw. All right.
No, particularly for Saskatoon, because Saskatchewan has like the least amount of lockdowns right now, so we actually have live comedy going on still. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is different from the rest of the country.
And I guess my other question is, can you hook Dan and I up with some Rough Riders tickets?
Pardon?
Can you hook Dan and I up with some Rough Riders tickets?
I'll try.
Okay. I might be the only other person in this room that follows Canadian football. But nevertheless, David James, thank you so much. We're glad you took the time and, from 1,000 miles away from Chicago. All right. So a couple of pieces of business before we move on to our next act. So Dan and I normally, or until 9 months ago, we're hosting this show at Shakers on Clark, which is a bar in Lakeview. And we tried to make the show as interactive as possible. We tried to feed off the energy of the audience. And now that we've been on Zoom for almost 9 months, we basically kind of resorted to just checking in with our Facebook Live feed to see if anyone has any questions or comments, or, they're just looking for a shout out. They just want to hear their name heard. Dan, our lovely webmaster, what's going on the Facebook Live feed?
Yeah, sure. So I see some activity happening. I thought I'd give some shout outs to some people like I see Kay Stevens. She's a performer we've had before. I see Emily Patterson. She's a friend of ours from our Comedy Clubhouse days. And I see my dad, Bruce Anderson, as well as my sister, Emily, apparently is watching as well. And my mom says, nice hat, Stuart. So apparently my parents are all watching at home. My dad, Bruce, my mom, Sarah, my sister, Emily, and my sister's boyfriend, Todd, they're all watching. So hello, everyone.
Yes, hello, and thank you, Sarah. All right, before we get to our next act, when Dan and I moved to Shakers 2.5 years ago, we began a campaign to save Chicago barprov. In a nutshell, there used to be barprov, which is portmanteau for bar improv, shows all over the north side of Chicago. Dan and I first cut our teeth at the Underground Lounge. That's where we produced our first show. But this was but the apex of barprov was in the early mid 2010s, and one by one, these bars started going out of business, or the shows were getting canceled, or people were just moving in a different direction. So Dan and I kind of took it upon ourselves to kind of be the tentpole for the very concept of seeing free comedy in a bar, and not just free comedy, but comedy that is not exclusive to just stand up and open mics. At the time of the pandemic, I think it was down to our show as well as a show at the Holiday Club in Irving Park Road. As an incentive to save Chicago barprov, we set up this improv tip jar. I designed it myself. It's duct tape and plastic. I believe the cup is silo. And it's an opportunity to not only create an incentive for people to see the show, but it's also something where we can help and support our fellow performers. And yes, there is the cash inside this tip jar, but I'm not expecting anyone to walk up to my third-story apartment near Kedzie and Lawrence and throw money at me. And Dan is not expecting anyone to walk up to his third-story apartment in Uptown and throw money at him. So we're encouraging you to donate to the tip jar virtually. You can either Venmo me or Venmo Dan. At the moment, we have about $18 inside the improv tip jar. That means that breaks out evenly between 6 different performers to $3. So each of our performers tonight are going home with $3, which I'll probably just Venmo or Cash App or whatever. We didn't even tell any of our performers tonight that this was a paying gig. And you can keep performing, and I should say supporting our performers by donating to the Venmo. Without further ado, our next performer is based out of New York. On her website, eileenhanley.com, she describes herself. Oh, I just fucked up that joke. She describes herself as an actor, writer, singer, and an Aries. So, okay, early April birthday, weird flex, but okay. Really though, phenomenal, multi-talented, multi-hyphenate, polymath performer. is a pleasure to have in our show, Eileen Hanley.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm going to be singing a few songs tonight. Let's get the party started. I'm going to dedicate this song to my boyfriend, the love of my life. His name is Josh. It's midnight, I get home from work. I kiss my boyfriend on the lips. We live together, been together for 6 years. I love him so much, I couldn't be happier. He goes to bed, I say I'm gonna stay up and unwind. Pull up my Instagram and go straight to search. Now that I'm alone, I can finally stalk every boy I've had any interaction with this week, 'cause I have a crush on every boy. I love them all, they're all so different. Some are smart, some are hot, some are dumb but super hot. Some are nerds but they're hot, it's their brains that make them hot. I just can't help it. I have a crush on every boy. My boyfriend gets up to get a glass of water. I throw my phone across the room and I pull out Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming. He says, I can't wait to spoon you to sleep. I smile sweetly and say, me neither. He says, do you need anything? And I say, actually, I'd really love a cup of tea. And he says, we only have black tea. Are you sure you want to be drinking caffeine this late? And I say, babe, make it for me. And he does. Seriously, he's the man of my dreams. He treats me like a queen. He goes back to bed and I run across the room and I go get my phone. Get back to stalking the new bartender at my job. His name is Jason and he's super fine. He watches my Instagram stories all the time. I have a crush on every boy. I love them all, they're all so different. Some are smart, some are hot, some are dumb but super hot. Some are nerds but they're hot, it's their brains that make them hot. I just can't help it. I have a crush on every boy. There's Peter, the other bartender, who's totally jealous of my chemistry with Jason. There's Justin, a guy in this class who I literally just met. I don't even know his last name. There's Andy, one of my improv coaches who I've only ever seen in a professional student-teacher setting. But whenever he watches my Instagram stories, I think about it for literal days. Then I get into bed with my boyfriend of 6 years. And he envelops me in his giant arms and I feel safe. And I remember that none of that matters 'cause I love him and he loves me. Seriously, I cannot stress that enough. He is obsessed with me. I am so fucking spoiled. I don't do any chores. I don't cook any meals. I am ruined for other men because he treats me like a princess, a pillow princess. And I go to turn off my phone and I get a notification that Andy liked my post. He liked my post. He saw my post. He saw a photo of me where I looked super hot and he liked it. He liked it. He liked it. Night, babe. Okay, that was the first song. How's the audio? Because it keeps bringing up a thing that says, like, are you playing music? Does it sound bad?
Oh, great.
It sounds good.
Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, you can. Okay, great. That was keep going. Okay, great. That was a really moving song about how much I love my boyfriend and only him. So for my next piece, I will be talking about what I'm sure is also another universal feeling that you're all going to relate to really hard. Okay, great. Let me take a sip of water. Here we go. Baby gets sexy, turns off the lights, takes off all of his clothes. Baby gets sexy, lights up a candle, it's my favorite scent, Fraser Pine. Baby gets sexy, puts on a playlist on Spotify called Doing It. He curls up next to me, takes me in his arms, starts kissing my neck, and the whole time I'm thinking, I'd rather be eating. We're about to bone, but I'd rather be eating. There's leftover mac and cheese in the fridge. There's a whole loaf of bread that I bought at the farmer's market. I got a huge bag of Reese's cups I bought on sale at the Dollar Tree. And I think there's still some ice cream left. Baby stops kissing my neck. He sees I'm distracted. He says, what's wrong, baby? And I say, nothing. And I kiss him with newfound fervor. I'm totally getting into it. He starts going down on me and I'm like, okay, that feels really good. I close my eyes and focus on all the little nerve endings in my clitoris. And as he goes, I'm like, the only thing that would make this better is if I were also eating Cheetos right now. Sorry, baby. I'd rather be eating. He's working so hard, but I'd rather be eating. Nothing makes me wetter than chicken wings. I have all the fixings for a perfect turkey sandwich 15 feet away from me. And here I am just lying there, not eating that sandwich. We fucked really close to the fridge. Finally, it's my turn because, you know, guys, you have to reciprocate, right? I guess. Right? Okay, so I start blowing him and I'm doing great. He's having the time of his life. He's like, the sooner I can finish him off, then the sooner I can order myself a pizza. Pizza. Thinking about that pizza. I'm taking my desires for the pizza out on his penis, and he's like, whoa, slow down. It's like you're ravenous or something. But I don't hear him. I'm just going to town. Every motion while I blow is pizza, 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 getting closer and closer and closer. And then he screams, ow! Oh my God, I was so focused on the food that I bit his dick. He's on the floor while he cradles his poor dick in his hands. He says, you bit my dick. And I say, oh my God, I am so sorry. He pulls up his pants and he says, I gotta go. And then he walks out my front door. And I'm like, I'm a psychopath. I sit on the couch and think about what I've done. I was so obsessed with food that I bit a guy's dick. Speaking of food, I go to the fridge. I have some leftover Chinese food. Take a big bite and finally I'm eating. Yay, the end. Sorry,
Eileen Hanley!
I have to pause it in between, otherwise they just keep going and I don't have time to like regroup. Okay, so that was another song that I'm sure you all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna close out the show with, well, I'll close out my set. Not close out the show. With a song that I used to do a lot before the pandemic, and now it just makes like all the more sense. So some of the lyrics might seem outdated because they're from like March, but you'll understand. Okay, here we go. Sure, the music is okay. Here we go. It's kind of loud, right? The economy is bad. The job market is hard. Yeah, no shit. Minimum wage is $15 an hour. And when the only job that's $20 an hour is when somebody else's life is literally in your hands. I want to do it. Let me do it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Let me babysit your kids. Let me inside your house with your kids. I was Red Cross certified when I was 12. I will keep them safe as long as it doesn't interfere with me watching your HBO. Let me babysit your kids. Babysitting these days has an incredibly involved vetting process. What happened to the good old days where you just call the neighbor and let them in your house? Well, here's what happened. My neighbor once broke into my parents' house at 3 a.m. and woke my mother up in bed to ask her to borrow a cup of sugar. That really happened. And you would just let her take care of your kids. No, enter me. Let me babysit your kids. Let me inside your home with your children. I will sing to them and tell them lots of poop jokes. I will try not to swear. I won't even wear my cunt necklace. I'm not wearing it right now, but I have one of those. I want to babysit your kids. Putting it to bed, that's extra. If they wake up after I put them to bed, that's extra. Feeding the dog, that's extra. Feeding the kids, that's extra. If there's a cat around, that's extra. If I step on a leg, oh, that's extra. If there's poop anywhere, that's time and a half, babe. And if there's no food, I want you to pay for me to order something obscene-less. Let me babysit your kids. Let me inside your house. I guess your kids will be there. I want to sit on my ass watching TV for 6 hours while your kids are asleep. I want to eat all the snacks in your pantry, plus the seamless. And I can't promise that I won't go through your medicine cabinet or steal any of your drugs or steal a book or steal a dress. And any change lying around is fair game. And at the end of the night, I want an Uber X home directly to my front door. And if you guys come home late and one or both of you is drunk and one or both of you hits on me, guess what, honey? You can bet your ass that that's extra. I want to babysit your kids.
Eileen Hanley, everyone!
Thank
That was
you guys so much.
phenomenal. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Thanks, guys. You were awesome.
And you can also find Eileen on Instagram at Literists. That's how I found her. And also check out more information about Eileen at eileenhanley.com. All right, so Dan, any updates?
Yes, there are, as a matter of fact. I thought I would give a shout out. One is to Elmer Hanneberg, who I know him as Uncle Rock. Apparently he is watching at home with probably maybe my Aunt Becca, maybe my cousins Eric and Jack, or I don't know, anyone else who happens to be home right now. Maybe people getting home for the holidays. I have no clue. Another one is Mitch Kessler, our friend at the Comedy Clubhouse. Thanks for watching, Mitch. And also there is one person who did like our YouTube stream, so thank you to whoever did that. That does help us with the algorithms. Don't know your name, though.
God bless those anonymous contributors.
I know.
People being charitable this time of year. And speaking of which, our improv tip jar still hanging tight at exactly $18. So again, everyone is getting at least a $3 tip this evening. Without further ado, a little bit of a record is being set tonight insofar that this comedian is performing in our remote show for the 4th time. We have not had any stand-ups appear in our show, or our remote show anyway, more than 3 times. He is a dear, dear old friend of the show. Anytime we have like a first show or anytime we need to do a dry run or anything, he is totally on board to, do some new material, do some of his best material, what have you. He was on our very first remote show. He's been in a couple of our milestone remote shows. He also happens to have a new album out called Nick and Sheila's Kid. Please welcome back to our show, Prateek Srivastava.
Hello, everybody. Yay. Yes, I do this show a lot because I have nowhere else to go. Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is awesome. Can we have a hand for Stu and Daniel for putting this on? This is great. Thank you. All of you in the Zoom sphere, and then in the YouTube sphere, and then in the Facebook sphere. Yeah, keep building traffic. That's important. Traffic's important. Get your brand content up. That is important. Like this beard, this is my brand content. I got to get traffic going with this beard. I keep the link strong to gain followers. And it's not like the people come to the beard. No. The beard is going to grow so long. People are going to just get caught in the beard, and then they come to me like a tentacle. It's going to be great. Brand content is important. We got to focus on that, you guys. But, we are in Zoom land, and I think it's good. People like to knock Zoom performances. I know it can be kind of strange, but I enjoy them. I enjoy that we get to connect with different types of performers. Tonight has been a variety show. I think that's great. I love doing variety shows. I had to do a show the other day with the 16-year-old magician, and it was life-changing. You need that in your life. You need to perform for more 16-year-old magicians, Stu and Daniel. You need that in your life. It's like an awakening of some sort. It gives you some good chi in your soul. I don't even know what chi is, but it gives you that good chi in your soul. And it reminded me, like when I was watching the 16-year-old magician, like in the zone, because he was doing these tricks in Zoom land, and people were, getting into it, and they were really like, responding to it. And I was like, man, this reminds me of when I was 16 years old. And you guys might be surprised to learn, I also dabbled a little magic too. Yeah, I wasn't a 16-year-old prodigy. I wasn't performing at the Rio Hotel in Vegas. No. But what I did was I had one good trick. And that trick was I made my parents' love for one another disappear. It's a great trick. It's a good trick. It's not going to be on Fox Magic Secrets Revealed. It's not that good, but it's still it's a good trick, And for those wondering at home, I know what because this is being streamed on Disney Check Minus, right, guys? Yeah. Not Disney Plus, mind you. I said specifically Disney Check Minus. That is the off brand streaming site of Disney Plus. Disney Check Minus is just this show and old episodes of Viva La Bam. Who remembers Viva La Bam? Like that, just that. And the spin-off of Jackass. Not even the real Jackass show. No. The spin-off of Jackass. Hells yeah. I will take credit. So in the chat here, it says $20 was added to the tip jar. I will take credit that it was the Viva La Bam reference that got the $20 in the tip jar. It was probably Bam Margera who tipped the $20 to the Flower Shop Bangers. He was like, hey, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And that was his old catchphrase. I didn't mean to curse. And then he's just like, I'm going to take my Cameo money because he's on Cameo right now. If you don't know, you can get Bam Margera introing your quinceanera. Stuart, I'm sure Stuart, you know all about these quinceaneras out there. They need celebrity intros. And what better than to have Bam Margera intro your quinceanera? I think that would be fucking great, right, Allie Clayton? You would love that. If you had a quinceanera, Allie Clayton, you would love some Bam Margera intro magic. So Bam Margera donated $20 to the Flower Shop Banger Fund, and I think that's great. Isn't that what the holidays are all about? People coming together, putting money in the jar, and me talking about my parents not loving each other anymore. That's what the holidays are all about. I am quarantined with family right now. Anybody else quarantined with family? It's not easy, and I'm trying to do it sober now. Also, I'm trying to be sober while my family, Allie with the thumbs up, hell yeah. But the problem is, Allie and everybody else out there, My parents are still drinking. They're drinking up a storm, and I'm the odd person out trying to be sober. I'm the weirdo controlling the Instacart orders, seeing what's in there. And you know what they're ordering? 10 bottles of rosé. That's all they're ordering. No whiskey gingers, no Chivas Regal, no Bombay Sapphire. Not a race joke. I didn't mean to make that a racial thing. But no, none of that. All they're ordering is 10 bottles of rosé. My middle-aged Indian parents are drinking like a Connecticut bachelorette party. I don't know what they're doing, but I don't know why they're drinking rosé. That's too much rosé. That is just it's a lot. We don't need that. And it's gonna make the dinner times. That's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, going home for the holidays, being around mom and dad, it's gonna be awkward. Yeah, every dinner is awkward. I'm living Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners every day. That's all it is. Just on a never-ending loop. It's weird, but it's fine. Like Thanksgiving was interesting this year. You know what we did, Stu, for Thanksgiving this year? We took a frozen turkey from Jewel Osco. Big ups to Midwestern grocery stores, Jewel Osco. Hey, in the chat sphere, in the YouTube links, drop a line if you remember Jewel Osco. Drop a line if you remember the preferred card. Yeah, we remember the preferred card. We know what the fuck's going on. Get those Jewel reward points. Get the Monopoly game and all that good stuff. We need that. That's important in life. And here's the thing. I get that frozen turkey, and we get it at home. I do the lead on the cooking. And here's what my family does. This is what we do for Thanksgiving this year. We take that frozen turkey and we stuff it full of traditional Indian spices, you guys. Yeah, like the Pilgrims wanted to do, but couldn't do it because they're bad at geography. Am I right? They're not good at geography. So we take those spices, we stuff it in turkey, and Stu and Daniel and Allie and everybody else, you know what we call that shit? We call it reverse gentrification Thanksgiving. That's what the fuck we call it. Yeah. And on reverse Thanksgiving, the blankets make you stronger. Yes, we went there. We're talking about smallpox blankets. And on reverse Thanksgiving, those blankets actually give you strength. You survive. It's great. It would be wonderful if that was a real thing. But no, instead, we have to open up our history textbooks, learn about smallpox blankets, and it's not very fun. But you know what? They appreciated that joke. They told me that. The last road gig I did before the pandemic kind of went nuts was a casino gig, and they love that shit there. And I was like, big ups to the Native American people of this casino, because everybody likes to say, oh, Native Americans, they've had it so bad, but they have casinos now. That's what I thought. And then I go to the casino, and you know what it is? It's just white people. It's just white people in the casinos. There's no traditional, where's the Native American traditional CEO? Yeah, I met the CEO of that casino. He didn't look Native American. You know what his name was? Steve Sitting Bull. That's not real. That there's nothing traditional or cultural about Steve Sitting Bull. All right. He was whiter than the wall behind me. All right. He was number -2 on a Home Depot paint strip. He was very light skinned. He did not look Native American. He didn't even have the headdress on. Nothing. His name is Steve Sitting Bull. I looked at him. I'm thinking, you know what tribe you're part of, Steve Sitting Bull? Jeep Grand Cherokee. That's what he's a part of. That's not a real tribe either. It's sad. You know who the darkest people were in that casino? It was me and the bus boys. That's sad. We don't need that. Oh, hell yeah. We're getting more in there. This is like that fundraiser, you know, like the Jerry Lewis telethon where he sings and then like the temperature meter goes up with more money. That's what this is. And I'm kind of like Jerry Lewis, except I'm not misogynistic, because that's what we learned is all these old variety men are just creepy to women. It's sad. I don't have my book here, but I'm actually reading right now the paperback edition of Live from New York at Saturday night. Why is it the paperback edition, Stu and Daniel and Allie? You know why it's the paperback edition? Because it has 10 extra pages how Chevy Chase is shitty to women. It's a great edition, you guys. Pick it up in the bookstores now. He was on Community. It's fine. He's got that Community money coming in. It's fine. Everybody saw Spies Like Us. He's still getting residuals from Spies Like Us. He knows what the fuck's going on. That's fine. He was in rehab. He's doing okay. Yeah, I make fun of comedians that are more successful than me. That's the plan here is to do that. That's important. Stu telling me I'm at 8. Because that one thing I will say, and this is the sentimental part of the set, is they let me come on all the time, and they also let me run the light at this show. So big ups to them for letting me run the light and ramble and have some fun. But we raised some money too. So there was controlled chaos with this. That's important. Here we raised some money for the people. That's important too. So this is what I'll leave on is, the holidays are happening. Yeah. my album is about my parents, so it's a holiday themed thing. Family's important, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. The biggest family thing that's going on in my life right now is I'm reconnecting with my 3-year-old nephew. This is the first time I'm meeting with him. He's been 3 years old. Never met him before this month. And that's been good to know that I am an absentee uncle, but I can redeem myself with one conversation about dinosaurs. That's all it takes, guys, to become a non-absentee uncle, is just talk about dinosaurs with an hour and you become a fucking hero. That's all it takes. The stakes are so low for being an uncle. You don't have to do anything. You just got to swoop in once in a while, take your nephew or niece, talk about dinosaurs, or give him a joint, one of those things. Talk about dinosaurs, give him a joint, give him some bail money out of jail. That's what a fun uncle does. That's it. Dad comes in to try to give the sex talk and he says, "Hey guys, we got a guest speaker. Give it up for the guy who taught me everything I know." And then the fun uncle, that's me, comes rolling in, and I taught the dad everything he knows, and I tell him all the things. And it turns out that's how I became a real sex ed teacher. Pay your teachers, guys. That's what's important. Be a fun uncle or a fun aunt or a fun kind of periphery parent. That's important. Do that for the kids. But here's the thing, though. You can be a fun uncle or aunt, and you might be good with the kids, and then that'll say, "Oh, you're good enough to be a real parent." No, that's not how that works. Just because you're a fun uncle or aunt doesn't necessarily mean you can be a great parent. That is literally the Zoom comedy equivalent of parenting, you guys. That is what that is. But this has been a lot of fun. Stu, Daniel, you guys have let me come on here all the time and not talk about too much cum, but just let me do my thing. And that's what the holidays are about. Thank you guys so much. Keep donating to the cause, and Flower Shop Bangers, power up. Let's do it, guys. Thank you.
Prateek Srivastava, thank you. I hope you're doing well out in Lombard. All right.
I am in Lombard, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I remember these things. I mean, I grew up one town over. Jeez.
You were right there. You were neighbors.
Yeah, DG, motherfucker. All right, and it looks like we've had some additions to the tip jar. So right now we are now at $63, which means all of our performers tonight are going home with at least $10.50.
Fucking A, yeah.
Just think, with that money, you can spend 15 minutes in one class at Second City. Dan, any updates on the Facebook live feed?
I thought I'd just say, Stuart, you were saying that, there were some additions. I thought I would just give the shout outs to people who gave those. That is my dad, Bruce Anderson, and my uncle, Elmer Hanneberg. Also, I just thought I would point out that if you look in the comments, I added a link to both Eileen's website as well as Prateek's new album, so you can find.
Thank you.
So if you're looking for that, you can find it right there. Back to you, Stu.
All right, thank you so much. Also, just a quick self plug. My Facebook comedy page, totally independent of the show, Stu News, is on the verge of 1,800 likes. So that's right. Yeah. So if you have an opportunity, please like and follow Stu News. That's at facebook.com/STUNEWS. Like right now, I'm like at 1796. Like seriously, just 4 likes and I'm over the hump. Without further ado, our final comedian of the evening is in New York, by way of Chicago, by way of Louisville, Kentucky. She performed at the Just for Laughs Chicago 4 years in a row, and recently appeared on Funny How on Vice. It is a real treat to have in our show. It's a Christmas treat to myself and to Dan. Please welcome to our show, Allie Clayton.
Oh, that is a perfect song choice. Thank you. It's actually originally North Carolina, then lived in Louisville, then Chicago, and now Brooklyn. Hey, y'all. So I've been starting every show with letting everyone know my pronouns. Mine are she, her, and my adjectives are Southern lesbian. I have a story I wanted to tell tonight. People watching, you've only seen me for like 15 seconds, but I'm sure everybody is like, where do I know her from? Where have I seen her on the TV? And the answer to that question is that in 2012, I was on a little show called Showtime at the Apollo on BET. Yeah, that's correct. In 2012, I was a face of Black entertainment television. To understand the story, you have to have a little backstory to it. So I left the South in 2009, went to Chicago to pursue my dreams of pussy and comedy. You can't do either in the South. And to pursue my dreams. And I started noticing that none of the cool white dudes on the North Side, they wouldn't book me like on any of the shows. And so I was like, well, what do I do? And then I heard about this place on the South Side called Jokes and Notes. And I was like, well, hell, I'll just ride over there and give it a shot. At this time, I had no idea that there was any difference between the North Side and the South Side of Chicago. Now, after having lived there from 2009 to 2017, I can tell you the South Side is predominantly Black and the North Side is like white, like so white. Like none of the girls actually wear clothing on Halloween because their parents will pay for their medical bills. Like so white. Like if you're not puking outside of Wrigley Field, are you a fan? So white. But and I'm an expert. So I had no idea. So I just get in my car and I head on over to 47th and Martin Luther King Drive. And I start going to this open mic every week. I become friends with all the South Side comics. Laurel, T. Murph, Buff Bay, Hot Sauce, Bald Head Hustle Phillips, Kevin, I don't know. Kevin Damn Simpson, the Wild Cat, and me, Allie Clayton. I became friends with everybody, but something I learned quickly about being a Southside comedian is that you weren't really in the group until you were invited into the circle. And what the circle was, it was when Black comics would stand around in a circle and then they would just clown each other, just insult the shit out of each other. And like, they were so sweet to me though, so sweet. Like they would, they'd walk me to my car every night and be like, we'd hate to see your white ass get shot. So sweet. And then in the circle, they would always clown on me. They'd be like, oh, Allie don't fuck Black dudes because she only fucks her cousins. They were always saying that. They were so silly. And, you know, I'd have to come back real quick with something like, no, I just don't fuck you because you look like Humpty Dumpty and live with your mama. Ooh, like real good. But, a good note to know is if you're ever in a circle in a joke off with a group of Black comedians, you cannot, you have to have a quick retort or you're out of the circle. If you don't have a quick retort, you're out of the circle. So if you don't have one, you just say this and then you get to stay in. Shut up with your busted ass sneakers. And then you stay in the circle. So I became friends with everybody. I'm loving performing on the South Side. And then one day, Bald Head Hustle Phillips calls me and says, hey, Al, we're all going down to do this audition for BET. You coming? And I was like, I will be there, Bald Head. And y'all, I show up. It is Black singers, Black dancers, Black musicians, Black poets, Black excellence, and me. And somehow, after this audition, I ended up being the only comedian chosen from Chicago. Which is insane. And of course, me, the height of like white privilege, I'm just like, oh yes, I will take this opportunity. I deserve it. But so BET flies me to New York. I have to be at the Apollo Theater at 9 a.m. It's around about 9:05 when I realized maybe shit's not going to go so well here. I walk in and there's a security guard. He looks like he's been sitting on this little chair for about 102 years. And he starts tapping my shoulder and he goes, hey, little white girl. And I say, yes, sir. And he said, you know, people come here every week just to boo, right? And I was like, no, I did not. So it's we're like doing our whole rehearsal for our live taping, and it turns out that the BET producers love this thing I did in 2012. 2012 Allie Clayton comedy involved a lot of kicking. Okay, I like to kick out my punchlines. Okay, so here, I'll give y'all an example. Here, I'll just give you a little example. Like, growing up, I did a lot of beauty pageants. I was kind of like John Benet Ramsey, except for my mother drank more wine. My parents didn't kill me. Bam! And that is what I would do on stage. And the BET producers loved this shit. They loved the kick. And they were like, Allie, as soon as the host says your name, we want you just to come out kicking. Just come out kicking. I was like, don't set it up. Don't give it any context or anything. Just come right on out kicking. No problem. I'll do it. Sounds good. So the host of this show was Tony Rock, hilarious comic, Chris Rock's brother. And before Tony brings me on stage, he gives me like the best intro of my entire life. The show sold out, seats 1,500. I'm in the wing of the Apollo Theater, and Tony Rock goes, the next performer we have coming to stage is a woman. And if she can do 10 minutes, if she can do 1 minute, just 1 minute of material without y'all booing her, I'll give her $1,000 right here on stage. Everybody, Allie Clayton. And out I came. Bam, 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 bam. And before I even get to the center of stage, there's oh, by the way, one of the judges was Gladys Knight. Okay, so there's this woman standing up behind Gladys Knight, and very, oh, what is this? Oh my God, I'm gonna kill him. Is a very large woman in a lime green t-shirt. Sorry, I gotta, Melody, come help me. Okay, I hope everybody can, I don't know what, oh, there, okay, sorry. I'm not very good with words. Anyways, sorry. Oh my God. So I have an autistic adult who is my very best friend in the world, and we got to play Wheel of Fortune on the iPad for 2 hours earlier so that he would not call during this. But you know, he is who he is and likes what he likes. Anyways, okay, so I'm on the right hand side of stage. He gives me my incredible intro. I kick all the way out, and then I see this woman coming up behind Gladys Knight in a lime green t-shirt, not a body shamer, not her best color though, and she starts going, boo, boo, bitch, bye, bitch. And it was as though I was like watching the wave at a football stadium. But instead of everybody being like, I love my team, they were like, we fucking hate you, bitch. And so I'm out there, it's booing, booing, booing. And then all of a sudden I hear, cut. We're going to have to take that again. Allie forgot to rub the stump. Yeah, it's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. For those of you that don't know anything about the stump at the Apollo Theater, the stump, it was from a tree called the Tree of Hope. That was a tree that stood in Harlem, and it was a big beacon of like luck amongst the Black community. If you're going for an audition, you go by and rub the Tree of Hope. Tree got cut down in 1934. The Apollo owner took it, shellacked it, put it on a golden pillar on the right-hand side of stage, and everybody who has the honor to step on that stage before they perform for good luck, they rub that stump. Michael Jackson's rubbed the stump. Beyonce's rubbed the stump. Richard Pryor's rubbed the stump. So like when I didn't rub the stump, it was kind of like the equivalent of my country white ass being like, well, fuck you and your black holy tree. Like it was just like really bad, really disrespectful. So we have to take it back again. And so now I'm on the back on the right hand side of stage, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Everybody hates me. And Tony Rock gives me my incredible intro once again. And I come out, I get to the stump, and then I just panicked. I panicked and I humped the stump. I humped the stump on national television. I humped the stump on BET in 2012. And as soon as I humped the stump, like I'm trying to make it And I finally make it all the way to the center stage. I get my mic and I say, I like to kick out my punchlines. You know what I'm saying? Gladys Knight. And Gladys Knight did not know what I was saying. And then all the booing started again. And then all these bells and whistles went off. And the Sandman came on. And he had on like a bedazzled jumpsuit and tap danced and swept me off the stage. And that was my first TV credit. But I have a lot of comedian friends, and like I think a lot of comics would be like, oh, the worst thing that can happen when you're on stage is you just hear silence. And I'm like, nah, actually no. It's when 1,500 boo you while a man in a bedazzled outfit tap dances and sweeps you off stage. Actually, I went back to Chicago after I performed on BET, and I went back to the South Side. And as soon as I walked in, everybody started clowning. Oh, BET's back. How'd it go? Did you run New York? What's up with Harlem? Like, just going in on me. And I'm like, God, I gotta admit, I failed. And so, like, I'm talking to my friend Baldhead, and Baldhead goes, no, really, Allie, but how'd it go? And I was like, man, they didn't just boo me once, booed me twice. He said, well, that's what your white ass gets for saying I got busted ass sneakers. Thank you, guys.
Allie, Clayton, everyone. Oh, thank you so much, Allie. By the way, Prateek wanted to ask, is there footage of this?
There is. I know that it's like played on reruns because every now and then I'll just get like a random Facebook message from a Southside comic just being like, and like that's pretty much it. I just saw it. I personally, I don't know if I want to watch it. It was so brutal.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
From North Carolina, Allie Clayton, everybody.
Woo!
All right, so Dan, one last check-in before we get to our final act of the evening. How's the feed looking?
You know, it stayed pretty consistent. So I don't know if there's anyone new viewing in, but thank you to everyone who's watched tonight. Also, if you've enjoyed tonight's show, you can do what my background image says. You can like the Flower Shop Bangers on Facebook, or you can subscribe to us on YouTube. Either one, you will see our show. You can, see the upcoming performances. We're not going to be back, I think, until December 30th is the plan, right, Stu?
That is correct.
Yeah, so we're taking a little bit of a break for Christmas, but we will be back soon and, ready for more comedy.
Exactly. I mean, all the late night talk shows are off for the rest of the year. They won't be back until January 4th. Mm-hmm. It's like the whole TV industry is shut down, but we're still here, and we will be doing a show, our last show of the calendar year, on Wednesday, December 30th. Mm-hmm. And we've got a pretty well-rounded show. My Christmas gift to Dan is basically the fact that on December 30th, we finally booked a magician. We've been trying to get a magician for years. We've had mind readers. We've had, I think, maybe one intuitive, but we've never had a magician. And we have a gentleman by the name of Eddie Fairman that is going to be doing illusions. I'm sure it's going to be really cool. Plus, we're going to have our friend Jessica Rotondi, our other good friend Brian Sebi, Amelia Redhaler, and Ian Lasky. So I would say it's a pretty solid, well-rounded show, Dan. And I hope you all check that out 10 days from now, 1 week from Wednesday, December 30th. Also, if you have not donated to a tip jar yet, we are still accepting donations. My Venmo is above, as well as Dan's. Right now we're at $63, which means all of our performers today are going home with $10.50.
I hadn't put it up yet, but it's there now.
All right. Without further ado, my Venmo, Dan's Venmo. Without further ado, our final act of the evening are the co-hosts and co-producers of Semi-Regular Sundays. Mm-hmm. Who, until 9 months ago, were hosting this show at Shakers on Clark in the Lakeview, Boys Town, give or take-ish neighborhood, or in Chicago. Not too far south, being considered Wrigleyville. They've been performing together for 7.5 years and have performed at improv festivals in cities as far-flung as Omaha, Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, Green Bay, Wisconsin, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And as near as we can tell, we're going to keep doing this Zoom show until whenever this pandemic is finally nipped in the bud, which for all we know could be the middle of next year. Without further ado, please welcome Flower Shop Bangers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I'd give one more shout out because I noticed one more person liked our feed, and that was Muddy Waters. Do you remember what his name is? Because I know that's a Facebook. I'm like forgetting at the moment, but I can. It's Ron.
Muddy
Ron.
Waters?
It's Ron. It's Ron, right?
Yes.
His
I
name's
was
Ron.
gonna say. I was gonna say, isn't Muddy Waters' real name like
Ron.
like McKinley
Sorry.
Morganfield or something like that?
Oh, I mean like the person that we know who goes by Muddy Waters on Facebook.
Oh yes. Professor Ron. Yes.
Yeah. It's Ron.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. I believe he performed with us when we originally formed the Flower Shop Bangers. Fun story.
That is very true.
Yeah,
Very true.
Yeah, no. But before when Stuart and I first met at the Gorilla Tango Theater, he was one of the performers who was there. So
Yep.
fun fact.
Yeah, he was in the room when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I have the Venmos right up above. If anyone wants to give any last minute donations to this show, it will all be split amongst all the performers. Yeah, and without further ado, we are the Flower Shop Bangers. We're going to do some improv for you, and we get weird with it.
All right, checkmate.
Fuck.
All right,
That
that's
is
2 out of
checkmate.
3.
2 out of 3.
Yep.
All right. I mean, what do I owe you now? Like it's
$50.
$50. I don't know. What was the agreement?
$50 is
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. I know. Sorry. It's just what I got right now. God,
No,
you're
okay.
you're a good opponent. You know.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
I mean, I learned the Belgian defense when I was in high school.
The Belgian defense. That's a real
Belgian
thing.
defense. Yes.
Good Lord. The
Mhm.
Belgian defense. You see, the thing is, I don't even know the strategy. I've just always played a little intuitively.
Mhm.
Hasn't really worked out for me, honestly. But you know, like a lot of people, I watched the Queen's Gambit, and I'm now trying to learn chess.
Yeah, I mean, chess is all the rage, and
Yeah.
I'm making a whole lot of money just hustling people who
Really?
can't play chess for shit.
Oh, really?
Oh
Good
my
for
god!
you.
I mean, they play their rook too soon. They
Mhm.
play too many of their pawns all at the same time. It's just, oh my god.
I gotta be honest. People who are good with the knight, they can get you. They can put you in check
Mhm.
and take your rook. Like,
Mhm.
oh my god, that gets me almost every time. Like when I play against a good player. It's one of
Mhm.
those where it's like I play chess and I can recognize those situations where I'm screwed, but I don't know how to block those situations. I don't know how to put other people in those situations where they're just screwed.
Mhm. Oh, the moment you moved your castle to f6.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
castle. You call it a castle?
hmm Well, I mean, sometimes some call it a castle, some call it a rook.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I always thought of it as a rook. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. In my mind, castling is the move. You know, it's castling is
hmm
or whatever that's called. You know, when you castle is when you move the king and the rook in that way that
hmm
to kind of protect your king a little
my
bit.
God, you actually move your king. Oh my God, you are so sweet. Oh.
Well, you have to move your king sometimes. I'm sorry, you can't.
Yes.
You moved your king that last game. I mean, granted, not for
Just
like
the once. Just the once.
You must be so good then that you never have to move your king.
hmm
You never have to try and get out of a situation that where you're screwed.
Hold on. Let me show you this.
What?
This is me winning a state chess title.
Really?
Yes.
In the state of Iowa,
Yes.
you won the chess title.
I was the chess king of Iowa. Yes. And I used the Belgian defense, and I barely moved my king.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess this Belgian defense is what I have to learn.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little tricky at first, but
Mhm.
once you kind of figure out the pattern of the Belgian defense.
Okay. Okay. I mean, was it invented by a famous Belgian?
There's a long story behind it. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. It's it's kind of like how you have the French defense, the German defense, the Italian defense.
Man.
The Belgian defense isn't that far off.
Gotcha. So, I mean, I don't know. It almost seems like chess is like such a regional game and you study all these different styles and you do all these different things. I feel like there's so much for me to learn,
Oh, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. And it's and there's a whole lot to it more than just being some pretty British girl in the 1960s that doesn't know she's addicted to painkillers.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I think she was well aware she was addicted to painkillers.
Ah, okay.
At least based on what, I don't know. based on what I saw in the show.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you also find it interesting when she like starts, you know, studying games of the famous famous chess players, and, you know,
Mhm.
starts
You
picking
look
up on
at
theirs. And I
pictures,
wonder, like, what
chess
do you?
props.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Thing is, I started looking at those, and I'm just like, what? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Did
don't
I-
understand it. I'm gonna be honest. I look at it, I'm like, what am I getting from this?
Mhm. I mean, really, the only thing I can tell you without, going on some, 3-minute rant, 10-minute rant about the Belgian defense
Mhm.
is you just have to think 5 steps ahead.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a little bit of it that's intuitive, but there's a little bit where you have to think about how your partner, or I should say,
Mhm.
your opponent, is going to move their pieces.
Okay.
I saw you just moving your pawns all willy-nilly, just giving up your pawns, and I just thought, and I saw an opportunity.
You know, that is one thing. You know, I do feel like this happens to me a lot in chess, you know, based on my play style, is somehow we'll be tied with, like, you know, the power pieces. Like, we'll trade rook for rook, you know, trade bishop for bishop, knight for knight, whatever, you know, maybe even queen
Right.
for queen. You never know.
Hmm.
But somehow I just get all willy-nilly with my pawns, and I forget to defend them. I forget to keep them. And truth be told, towards the end of the game, when you can get a pawn across the board,
Mhm.
you can figure stuff out then.
All right.
I am trying to improve my strategy, you know, try to get this. I am figuring out that, you know, that one there's one pawn towards the beginning of the game you just don't want to move. And it's, you know, the one kitty corner from your rook.
Okay.
Exposes
okay.
your rook. Your rook is kind of hard to move towards the beginning of the game. And I seem to find myself getting really, really screwed over whenever I move that pawn.
Hmm.
And so I just stopped. Especially towards the
Alright.
top, you know, when they start breaking out their, you know, bishop or their queen, they can get you with a diagonal and you can't really do anything about it.
Mhm.
And if you've already moved that bishop, you know, that piece is just gone. It's theirs. Anyway, obviously I've been playing a little bit on my phone.
Oh, I can imagine.
Mhm.
You're exactly, I'm listening to what you're saying, and you're exactly where I was when I was like a freshman in high school.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
I didn't win that title when I was a freshman. I won that
Mhm.
title when I was a senior.
Ah, okay. So, you
there's
know.
3 years of training, that, led me
Yeah.
to that big final in Des Moines all those years ago.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a journey, man.
Hmm.
That's the thing. I'm just kind of picking this up for fun. You know, but also, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to take up a new hobby without being like, you know, I want to be good at this, you know? You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Because, I mean, seriously, Rick, you know, I'll be honest. I came into this game knowing you were Rick Jones, you know?
Yes.
The
The chess hustler.
2011 state champion.
Yes.
High school state champion, 2011.
The wunderkind of what
Yeah.
year?
I read about you. I looked at a couple of your games, didn't understand a single one, so no idea really what your strategy is. And quite frankly, a lot of them seemed a little chaotic where I couldn't really pick up on anything. But I guess the Belgian defense is something I should look at. Anywho.
But here's the thing. Here's
Yeah.
the thing, David.
Oh,
I can train you.
really?
Yes.
Oh, I wasn't even expecting that. I just wanted to maybe
Yes.
pick up on it, maybe look at you, try to maybe lose 1,000 times so that I could eventually figure out how to beat you. But you want to train me?
Chess is a game of noble people.
Oh.
It is a game for ladies and gentlemen. It is a game for people who prefer to make war on a board rather than war with each other.
War on a board.
War on a board.
That's a crazy way to view this game.
Mhm. Now, if you'll excuse me for a moment, I'm going to cut to a montage of me training you how to play chess that is set to like some 80s rock song.
Okay.
He's learning chess. He's learning how to use his rooks and his bishops. Turn chess.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
No, I got it. Now I'm a chess master. Sensei. I am a grandmaster.
All right.
You are a grandmaster, are you not?
I like to think I'm pretty close to it. I try to stay modest.
Mhm.
Gentlemen try to stay modest.
Yeah. So now that I'm entering my first chess tournament after your, 3-month intensive,
Mhm.
do you have any advice?
I do.
Yeah.
Always keep the Belgian defense in your heart.
Oh.
Hey, I heard someone talking about the Belgian defense.
Yeah, I think I heard the Belgian defense too. Should we make fun of it?
Oh, well, let's see. Hey, what's up with you?
Yeah, man. Why are you using the Belgian defense? That's so 2010. Huh!
Oh,
Oh God,
Oh
I know.
God,
what
I
this
know.
is.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I
The
can't. believe they-
Matheson twins.
Yeah. Oh my God, I faced them in
Let
Des
me see.
Moines.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're still competing? I didn't even realize you
I'm
were still.
bored. It's a pandemic. I'm bored.
I gotcha. You're bored. You can hop on.
Yeah.
I guess it is a game you can just play for life.
hey, you get that chessboard and we're going to play this out, all right?
Yeah, seriously. I bet you can't. Neither of you could beat us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We remember you from Wizard of What Cheer?
No one calls me that anymore.
The Wizard of What Cheer?
Yeah, the Wizard of What Cheer. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. It's like What Cheer, Iowa. It's such a weird name for a town.
Yeah.
It's a British slang term.
I don't fucking care. Let's play some fucking chess.
All right, man. Let's play some chess. Let's get the board out. Let's do this. I've been
All right.
trained by the Wizard of What Cheer.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. We play chess as a tandem, right?
I'm aware. Yes.
Yeah. No, it is what it is.
I'm just talking to a friend in the park. I don't have a second chessboard.
Oh yeah,
We can play virtually.
We could play virtually. We got our
Yeah.
smartphones.
Yeah, we got the chess app.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
We're nationally ranked on this app.
Yeah.
Freechess.com.
Mm-hmm.
We even paid to get the non-advertisement version. Man,
They pay for a chess app. Oh my
they
God.
pay for a chess app.
Okay.
Something you
All
can get
right.
for free.
Okay. Let's we'll just put our best foot forward.
We might as well, yeah.
Again, I'm not just
Wait.
playing against-
Your attitude sounds a little.
No, they're just annoying. That's all.
Okay, I got you.
Hey.
Yeah, seriously. All right, really? I mean, come on. I don't know. I mean, your attitude just sounds like you're just giving in to a bully. I'm gonna be honest.
I kind of am, but it's kind of like I won that state chess title, but they're it's like assholes don't run. It's
Yeah.
like once an asshole, always an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, let's play this fucking game.
Yeah, let's play it. Come on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I got a timer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So remember the Belgian defense.
Okay, the Belgian
I'll
defense.
do the online game. You do the in-person game.
All right, we're gonna do this.
All right. Your move, Rory. It's the ultimate chess competition. Grudges are going down.
Rooks are flying over the board.
To ahead.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom! Checkmate.
Oh, hey! The wizard still got it. Check and mate.
Oh boy.
Oh man, yeah, this is crazy. I didn't expect to lose. Yeah, man. It's just sometimes you don't I don't know, you ever not get used to losing, twin brother?
Oh man,
Yeah.
This is just too much for me to absorb.
I don't know. Well,
I
anyway,
guess that's something we can tell our therapist on Monday.
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's our show.
Yay! Thank you so much to all of our performers tonight, to Allie Clayton, and to Prateek Srivastava, and to David James, and to Eileen Hanley. Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in. Yeah, Dan, thank you for being our lovely webmaster.
Mhm.
I can't believe we've already done 72 of these shows.
Yep, it's been a
It
lot.
just doesn't feel like we've done 72 of these.
Yep.
And at the rate we're going to clear 100. I'm almost sure of it. So please tune in. Well, not this Wednesday or not next Sunday, but we'll be back on Wednesday the 30th with more comedy, more improv, and magic.
Mhm.
In the meantime, please wash your hands. Please wear a mask. Please stay a minimum 6 feet from strangers and acquaintances. Believe women,